What's up, YouTube? Let's all gather around and listen to my story about DXM. DXM, dextromethorphan. I think that's how you pronounce it. I tripped off of this a couple of weeks ago, so it's pretty fresh in my memory. This is just like a trip report, basically. So, about a month ago, um, I was at a friend's house, and it was like five of us, and we're all sitting around bored, just kicking it. And I tell my friend, this one girl, I'm just gonna call her Ashley. Her name's not Ashley. I'm just gonna say that for privacy purposes. But I just turned to my friend Ashley and I'm like, yo, do you want to take DXM right now? And she's like, fuck yeah. Because if you know, I mean, you don't know us, but we're like the two, like, not druggies out of the group, but we're always down to like try shit. So I turned to her and I'm like, yo, let's get this DXM. And she's like, fuck yeah. So we're sitting around and then we're just like, hey, we're gonna go to the store. We'll be right back. So we go to the store, we grab these like two boxes of, I forget what it was called, but it was dextromethorphan and it was guaifenesin. And you know what guaifenesin is? It makes you vomit essentially, which was a bad idea, but it was all they had. So we get these two boxes and we head back to the house that we're at. And first we're like, okay, how do we take these? Because we don't want to look like crackheads in front of like like the rest of the people. So we have to take this, like, we can't take this in the same room. So we go to the kitchen and we're just like standing over this counter and we're just looking at the pills like, so yeah, and we just start popping them, like we just start eating them and washing them down, and they tasted pretty fucking terrible. Like if you keep them in your mouth for a long time, not even a long time, like more than a second, it just tastes like shit. So we're downing these pills and I'm like telling her like how much she should take. We're like counting pills and stuff. And DXM, it takes, if you've ever taken it, it takes it a long time to kind of kick in. So we're just kind of sitting around for a while, like talking and joking or whatever. And the next thing that happens is a friend of my friend whose house we were at showed up and was like, hey, let's smoke a blunt. And I'm like, yeah. And so I start hitting this blunt. We're in this car outside. We're in this car outside smoking this blunt. And about 45 minutes have passed at this point from when we took the pills. So I'm smoking this blunt and I'm getting really off track. I think I have ADD or something I need to show. But but we're in this car smoking this blunt and the funniest fucking thing happens. So so I'm hitting this blunt and I pass it to my friend to my left. And we're all just talking. And suddenly my friend, it gets like real quiet and my friend is like, so Justin, how is that DXM trip coming along? Because I told him I took it, and he and I swear, at that very moment that he asked that question, it hit me. It hit me full force. I literally turned to my left, and I was just like, like, and everyone turned to look at me because everybody heard him ask this question, and we're all sitting in the car, and they're like, wait, what? And I could feel it, like I could feel it start to come on, like you get that warm. I don't know how many of you guys have taken DXM before, but you get this like warm feeling, like you can tell when you first feel it. So I'm like, I'm kind of feeling it come on. It's a little stronger than usual because we've been smoking weed. But we head back to the house after a little while, and I'm really starting to feel it like kick in. I can feel what I can describe as the earth, like it felt like the earth was coming alive essentially, and that's the best way I can describe it. It felt like the earth and my surroundings were coming alive. We're starting to kick, like, you know what I'm trying to say. And At this point, I'm like, I'm losing. Oh shit, that scared the fuck out of me. There's rats in that tree over there. Anyway, so we're kicking it in this room, and my I can see clearly. This room is dark as fuck because everyone's about to go to sleep, and I can see clearly. Like, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I can see, like, I'm seeing in the dark essentially, and I start to see patterns, like visuals. I can get these hallucinations, these like what I can only describe as like a painting, like a Van Gogh painting. Like, everything started to start moving, you know, and that was like, it was really cool at that point. And so everyone's starting to go to sleep, so I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna go to this bed. That's like, because we're all in this garage, and the garage is like decked out, like it's furniture everywhere and shit. So I go to the corner and I like into this like weird bed thing, like it's almost like a crib, like it's a small bed, like designed for kids or something. And I crawl in there, and I'm just like, I'm eyes open. I can't sleep. You can't sleep off DXM. I'm eyes open. I get all these visuals, like just visuals. I felt like I could see through things, because I would put my hand up and I would like see through it, and it was the trippiest thing ever. And oh, here's where I should mention that I did not actually remember how many pills I'd taken, which is so bad, so bad. And because I started to get scared, I was like, oh shit, like I just realized I don't know how many pills I took, so I don't know what level I'm gonna be on. What if I over, like, I was getting scared at that point. So the trip really went from awesome, cool, to like kind of scary, which is like the bad part about robo tripping, is what they call it. It's the bad part about it is that there's always something else in it, almost always. I mean, you can get DXM pure, but I was freaking out because I didn't know how many pills I'd taken. I didn't know if the guaifenesin, that would affect me in any way. Um, so I was kind of scared, and I think that fear really penetrated through everything that I was experiencing, and I literally just got up, rushed to the bathroom, and threw up because of the guaifenesin, most likely. But it was really brought on, I think, by the fear, you know. And after I throw up, I feel better, and I can really start to feel the DXM, hitting me. And I'm looking in the mirror, and my pupils are this fucking fat. Like, they're massive, and it's actually a little bit scary, like a little bit disconcerting, because I'd never seen my pupils like that ever in my entire life. I don't usually take shit that makes your pupils dilate, but they were massive, and I was getting like after images. I would look at the toilet and I would look away, and I swear I would still see the toilet, and I was hearing things in my head. I felt like I was going crazy, but it was pretty fun after I threw up. So I I'm looking in the mirror at my pupils for like 10 minutes. I feel like I'm tweaking almost, and I walk back in the room where everyone's trying to sleep, and I'm like, yo, guys, I just threw up. they're all like they're all like, okay, all right, cool. And I'm like, yo, my pupils are huge, and they're like, I look stupid probably. I probably look really dumb. But anyways, I'm like, I go back in the bathroom, and I'm like shining the light of my phone into my eyes, looking at my pupils for like the longest time. And I would start walking back to the bed because I'm like, okay, I'm done with that. And I'm really tripping at this point. I feel like I can see the universe. Essentially, the way I can describe it, I felt like I was God, and the universe was in my vision, and everything that was ever created was in front of me in plain sight. And it's so hard to describe. It's like, it's not creepy, it's not scary, but it was just really, 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 really intense. And it was hard to walk, kind of. And I later learned that I took around 1,000 milligrams, which is a pretty hefty dose. And those rats are really scaring me. Like, I can hear shit over there. Anyway, so Yeah, and at this point, I'm laying in this bed and I feel like I had died. And it wasn't scary at that point. I felt like I had died, but I wasn't scared like you would normally be if you had died, because I was still conscious and I was still thinking. I just felt like time had stopped, had frozen in this room because nothing was moving. I was just laying there, and everything was, it was still. Everything was still, and I felt like time had stopped and I had died in that moment, and my soul and my consciousness had kept going. That's it was pretty intense. And I should mention that at this point, I started to get kind of scared again because I was seeing this black mark in my vision, like burned into my vision, and I realized that I'd shined the light in my eyeballs for too long, and they were fucking huge. So at that point, I was like scared because I felt like I fucked up my vision. It was like this black stretch. He needs some milk. Anyway, so I got this like black stretch in my vision, and I'm tripping because I'm like it's not going away. Everywhere I look, it would just follow. And yeah, so I'm sitting in this room and I'm getting all these, you know, mental epiphanies. Like for example, um, I had the epiphany that time and space and everything that exists was a simulation, which was crazy to think about. It just hit me out of nowhere, like whoa. Like I had these weird questions like what is life, like why does anything exist, stuff like that. And the next thing I know, the garage door, like the door from the house to the garage, busts open. This dude whose house we're at, my friend, his dad walks in with the guy's brother, and they're like everybody. Anyway, so they bust in the room, and uh the dad says everybody out right now. Apparently what had happened was that my friend was hanging out with some sketchy people, or my friend's brother, sorry, was hanging out with some sketchy people, and somebody shot out his car windows outside, and no one heard it. No one heard it happen, but they were all busted out, and obviously they were both fucking pissed and kicked everybody out, which is so crazy. I was tripping dick at this point, and I'm supposed to deal with the situation where somebody's car windows just got shot the fuck out outside, and I'm supposed to get up and leave, and I'm like I can't see shit at this point because I have this weird like visual stuff going on, so it's hard to see, and I'm trying to walk out the door and not look weird, trying to not look weird in front of this guy's dad. And so me and this other girl Ashley, who had also taken the pills, I hadn't even really talked to her like this whole time because we were, in sleeping and stuff. I walk with her and this other guy. I'm gonna call him Brian, and all three of us we go back to my house, and we leave this house and we go back to my house. And I don't really remember much from walking, which is super weird because it's a pretty far distance between the two houses. And I just remember that I was just having these epiphanies over and over and over again, like they would just hit me out of nowhere. I wasn't saying shit, but every time Ashley and Brian would try and talk to me or something, I would just be like, wait, whoa, guys, wait, like that's what I was doing. I was saying, whoa, wait, guys, whoa, like it was really. I looked like I was on some serious drugs, and yeah. So we get back to my house. We're all kind of like kicking it right inside there essentially, and we're like listening to music and stuff, and the music sounds insane, like really. It doesn't even sound like music. It sounds like it's my soul, like penetrating my soul. Because there was this like speaker system we have inside, and I was just sitting there like crazy into this music, and I'm trying to like I'm trying to be a good host to these people, like talk to them every so often, but I wasn't fully there, socially. So yeah, I don't. It's not a drug I can take and talk. You know, I just like to sit in my own head. So at this point, some scary shit happens, and this is gonna sound so insane, but it did happen. Uh, and I want you to bear in mind that, yeah, this really did happen. I'm not lying. My eyeball, my vision in one eye rotated, like all like how like this is horizontal. In one eye was normal, everything was fine. In this eye, uh, it shifted like that, like diagonally. So essentially, I wasn't seeing well at all, and I was so scared because I'd already had these problems with my eyes and stuff during this whole trip, and I was just like, it felt like I had broken myself, like, and it obviously it's not like that anymore. I don't really know what it was, but like I would look up to the ceiling, to the corner of the ceiling, and I would just see like double vision, like one was going that way, one vision, one eye's going this way, and it was really. I was trying to explain to Ashley and Brian what was going, like what I had experienced and what was happening, but they were just looking at me like I was crazy, like I was on crack. But I couldn't explain it because I was tripping. I was just like, well, guys, like my vision is. I think I broke my eyes. Like that's when I say I broke my eyes, like that's what it felt like, and I was trying to say like I broke my vision, guys. Anyway, yeah. So after a little while, like we start to get a little bored. We're like, we should go to bed. So this guy Brian, he's like, all right, I'm gonna leave. I gotta go home or whatever. Me and Ashley go upstairs, and we go into this like room, and we're just sitting on this bed, like experiencing whatever was going on. And I throughout this whole trip, I felt like I was God, seeing the universe. And the weirdest thing ever, uh, there was a lot of, I had peaked at this point, and I was seeing shit, in my vision. And at this point, um, I'm gonna try and explain what I experienced mentally at this point, and this is definitely like the peak of the trip for me. So this is the interesting part. This is I'm never gonna forget this. All these thoughts about me being God and my creation and whatever, uh, they hit like a culmination point. Like it was just really intense. Um, Essentially, I'm gonna try and explain this. Essentially, at one point, um, mentally, I felt like the entire universe was looking at me. Like every single thing, aliens, every single, not even just life in the universe, everything in the every single physical thing in the universe, it felt like it had acknowledged my presence. And I'm trying to, convey this in a way that makes sense. It felt like the goal of the universe, essentially, the reason why everything exists, the goal had been achieved. And that goal was for everything to acknowledge me, for everything to see that I exist, like I was God, and every form of life in the universe at one point realized that God exists, and God was my presence, was my consciousness, was my mind. And then like the weirdest thing happens when I'm in this room. Um, Only what I can describe is like an interface in my vision, like almost like if you had a drop down menu and I could visualize any single thing in the world I wanted to see, meaning in perfect HD crisp detail. I remember I thought about a running panda, and I just imagined it, and I could see with my vision HD perfect crisp clear as day running panda with all of its hair moving, all of every single hair on its body was like rendered in my mind, in my vision, and I had no idea how it was happening, but it was happening, and I was completely clear that it was scary almost, like where is this coming from? Like, it was really weird. It was cool. It was cool, but it was strange. Um, yeah, I mean, this HD, like a panel, like my brain was like, it was like a computer almost, and I was seeing it drop down. I could ask it questions without saying anything, and it would give me answers to my questions without me even having to say it out loud. It was like somebody had installed like an update or like, a software update to my brain, and it was so insane. Um, yeah, that's hard to forget. That's crazy. It seemed like life was fake at that point. I was convinced that like life was just, it had ended and become fake. Yeah. I blinked and it was daytime. It was morning and I was still tripping off this shit, and I looked to my left and Ashley was asleep on the bed, and I woke her up and I'm trying to explain to her like what I'm experiencing, and she's just like looking at me, like give me this weird look, and because I'm not making much sense when I'm trying to say it to her, like this, the mental um the mental experience of that, realizing that everything saw you or whatever. It's hard, it's so hard to put into words while you're experiencing it. So yeah, I wasn't making sense when I was talking about it, but it hit me like all at once. Like I had this epiphany, like this crazy realization, and I felt like I had died. That's how it felt. There's all these animals like in the bushes. It's kind of creepy. Um, they're like rustling, like making noise. But yeah, that's kind of the end of the trip. Um, I walked around like in a fog, like an afterglow. People call it an afterglow for about a day or two. And yeah, it's when I say DXM, you need to be prepared for it. I really mean it. Because if you're going above 600 milligrams, maybe, you're gonna have some crazy things going on in your mental process. So you need to be doing well in your life. You need to be happy, like any, psychedelic substance. You need to be in a good state of mind to take it. And yeah, that's essentially it. Um, I fell asleep after that, and yeah, that was DXM. Shout out to this dude, Astral Jupiter, on YouTube. He made a DXM trip report, and that's what kind of motivated me to make this video, just because it was such a crazy experience, and it needs to be put into words for people to understand it. Um, yeah, that's about it. Uh, Try DXM. Try it. Just try it. Make sure you know what's in it. You know, those are not rats. That was an animal. Holy shit. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sitting out there anymore. But yeah, if you're gonna take it, know what's in it. Uh, don't be taking anything with acetaminophen, paracetamol. There's just a couple other ones. If you want to, educate yourself, go on Erowid. Um, yeah, watch Psyched Substances video on DXM. Do all that shit.